So in this video, what I'm going to show you is how to set up a traditional abseil that you commonly find at activity centres. So we're going to use two ropes, one a static line that the participants are going to abseil down, and one will be a dynamic line that the instructors will control. So this centre we use these strops. So I've got two strops here for my different ropes, and I'm going to abseil down through this gap down our climbing wall. So to start with, I'm going to set up my two carabiners. So we're going to use these steel carabiners. The reason we're using steel is because we're going to get a lot of wear, so the Italian hitch is going to go through it quite a lot, so it's just going to last a bit longer than an aluminium carabiner. What I'm going to do to start with is set up my abseil line. So this is with a static rope that the participant is just going to abseil down. What I'm going to do is have a look down, make sure there's no one below, give a nice big shout below, making sure that I hold onto the end of the rope. I'm going to throw it off the tower. And what I'm doing is I'm going to then pull it back up until it is about between 1 metre and ½ metre off the floor. You imagine if someone's going to abseil down, their feet are going to land on the floor, so we don't want loads of slack at the end that we're just going to have to pull up. And also it's just a bit of a waste of a rope. So it's going to be easier for me if I have the abseil line on this side, because when my participant climbs up the stairs, I'm going to have my Italian hitch on that side. That's what I'm going to control. It's easier to have it on that side for me. And so with our static rope, I'm going to tie my Italian hitch, okay, into this steel carabiner here. What I'm going to do with the Italian hitch is I need to make sure that the side that goes down that abseil is loaded. And I can tell if it's loaded because if I pull on that side, the rope should feed out. If I pull on this side, if you have a look at the knot, it flicks over before it will pull out, okay? So I'm going to make sure that this strand going down the wall is loaded. I'm going to make sure that Italian hitch is nice and snug. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this off. So I'm going to start with a slippery hitch. So I'm going to make a little loop, poke that tail through, and I'm going to pull about ½ metre of slack through. Then what I'm going to do is, going around both strands, I'm going to tie a half hitch. So I'm going to create a little loop and poke that through, and I'm going to pull both of those ends so the knot goes nice and tight. And I'm going to do that twice. So I've done one, so I'm going to make a little loop, pull it through, and then I've got two half hitches. So I've got my Italian, my slippery hitch, and two half hitches. Now some centres, what they do is they'll clip this tail back up to the knot just as an extra safeguard. What I'm going to do is just tuck that out of the way, and I've got a little bit of excess rope here, and again I'm just going to tuck that up through my carabiner, and then it just gets it out of my eye line. I'm not accidentally going to attach the figure of 8 to it. So I'm going to take my figure of 8, which is what the participant's going to abseil on, and I'm going to get that ready. I'm actually going to have that nice and high so that when I clip it on, it's tight onto the participant. I don't want it to be slack. Quite often if you ask the participant to lean backwards and this rope is slack, if they're a bit nervous, it's going to be extra nerve-wracking for them. So if it's nice and tight and snug on the participant, they're going to feel a lot more at ease. I'm then going to get the instructor safety line ready. So this is my dynamic rope. So what I'm going to do is I am going to tie a refitted figure of 8 on both ends of the rope. So if I got two figure of 8s in the end, what it means is I'm going to get rid of one end down the tower below. My other end is going to be up here ready for my participant, and that's going to be tied with an Italian hitch into my other carabiner. So now if I clip the participant on there, as they go lower down the abseil wall, my other end will start to come up, And then it means when they're on the floor, I've already got my other figure of 8 with a carabiner on that I can just clip the next participant in. So it makes it a little bit quicker. And this is now my setup. So the last thing I'm going to do is give everything at the top a nice little squeeze check. Okay. And then I'm ready to run my session.